In this video, we're going to go over the 3 steps to becoming a software engineer and getting a job. So I've been a software engineer for 7 years. I got a job in the worst job market for software engineers, I guess in decades, whatever, at Walmart in the Bay Area, making over 200,000. I've also read this system design book, also read this other system design book. These things are like the size of my head. It took me a long time. Took notes on them, made YouTube videos on them, and I've also done a lot of LeetCode problems. And so the thing here is that by the end of this video, you're going to understand at least my mindset when it comes to getting a software engineering job and how I was able to do it when theoretically it should have been really, really, really hard, but I did it in a couple 100 days. I think you can watch that video if you want of me breaking it down. But I want to go over 2026. How do you do it? How do you excel enough to impress the interviewers to make them want to interview you if you're not getting interviews? And how do you actually pass the interviews that they're giving you? So one is that I want to start from no idea how to code, then go into you actually know how to code and do things like that. And so the first part of this in my head is that one, you have I see this as kind of phases that you have to step through. And the first phase that I want to talk about is you have no idea how to code. And it's how do you go from having no idea about what even is code? You just maybe started as a freshman in computer science or 30 or something. And you're dang, well, I kind of want to do code. How do you go from there to actually, stepping it up? And I think the answer to this is you just start with the AI stuff, because I don't understand why would you want to do something really, really hard if you can't just tell an AI to do something. I think that it makes a lot of sense that if someone is looking at code a little bit, just a tiny, tiny bit, that they'll get better at coding versus never looking at code. And I think people who have no idea about code have never looked at code, but I just want to get them just a tiny, tiny little bit on the screen flashing. And I think the flashing of it on the screen is better than nothing. And I think you will actually improve. And so if I can get you to vibe code stuff, just start building stuff, maybe get excited about coding. Maybe you're actually interested. Maybe you want to start building more and more and more. And eventually, in the current state, there is a limit on vibe coding. Vibe coders have not ruled the world yet. There has not been a multi-billion-dollar vibe coded company yet. And so the tech isn't there yet. I'll be looking for it and I'll be making videos when it does happen. But vibe coding is a good start. It won't get you there at the end. And in order to get there at the end, you got to learn this other stuff. And so what I would do is open Claude, Codex, open Claude, pay $20 a month. I think maybe even the free versions might give you some access. There might be some free tools out there that you can use, but I would do it personally, $20. That's a DoorDash order. By the way, I know you guys are door dashing for $20, $30. So then maybe just don't once a month or something. I don't know. Find $20 and then start coding stuff with it, right? Think of an idea, type it out, do it again, ask the AI to start explaining parts of the code, how to do this, how to do this, how to do this. And then it kind of becomes your guide for $20 a month. And you will actually start learning stuff, assuming you are asking it to explain and assuming you're actually acting on it. And I think this is way better than no code land. This doesn't matter if you're a freshman, doesn't matter if you're, complete beginner. If you suck at coding and you can't code 1 to 3 lines, then I think this is for you, right? Until you get there. So I think it's a bonus if you have some kind of human teacher. I think it's good if you were to sign up for college classes. I think it's good if you were to do some kind of program, maybe third party, boot camp, free code camp. I don't know. I think a human teacher is good. But yeah, I don't know. Those are just my opinions. I don't know. Those are just my opinions. So once you've kind of graduated and you've been doing this, again, I think for a couple of weeks is actually enough, depending on how much you do. But if you can build out a couple just vibe coded projects, I think that's good. You prompted the AI, you asked it to explain stuff. Perfect. Now we're going to go into the actual software engineer level, in which case I like having and I like seeing basic array string problems. And this is why I made this website too, which was I just want to get you just doing something really, really, really basic. So something given a list of integers, if X is inside of it, return it. This basically is just the point of this is to teach you the syntax of the language that you're using. And it's to test can you just write really simple conditionals, if statements? Do you know how to go inside of a list? Do you know how to print something? There's all these there's maybe 10 concepts maybe like printing, checking lists, doing things like that. But they're the building blocks of actually coding something. When you think about Facebook, Facebook is it's just a series of lists. Like when you look at your friends list, for example, like it's just a list. And so inside the computer, inside the code somewhere at Facebook, there is an array, there is a list, and it's got all of your friends inside of it. And in order to build Facebook, you have to be able to one, just extrapolate out of Facebook and then just do like a basic simple coding problem where you've got like some list, you want to find if there's a number in it. Because this applies to where it's like, what if there's a list of names and you want to find if someone's name is inside of it? You know, the skills translate. So if we can get you to solve exercises like this, then you can actually start doing. And again, it doesn't have to be this map. It could be LeetCode. It could be, @coder. It could be whatever. But like the point is that this has to be basic strings, arrays. You got to move and you have to solve these problems because that's how you get better. In my opinion, at least that's how I did it. That's what I did. Is like I didn't know how to code, so I just did these problems, and I was like, oh, that's how you can. So you can do a number like this. Okay, well then you can also do it for a string, and you can also do it for this, and it just builds, and your brain gets bigger, and then you get a job offer, and are a bit happier until you're laid off, of course, because of AI. But the other thing here is that like now that you've got the basics, then you just expand out, learn what methods are, learn what object-oriented programming is, and write more lines of code, not the 1 to 3 lines if statements, but you just start building it out. You get bigger things. And then once you understand these concepts, you can take over the world. You can actually build your Facebook if you wanted to. You can actually build really, really powerful technology software that generates, $10,000 a month. I think for sure, just off those skills. Once you understand these things, like you're actually just dominating, I believe. And then the second question is like, how do we just demonstrate this to an actual recruiter, to an actual software engineer? And the answer to that is you just build projects. So once you have the skills, once you know it, once you're good at that kind of stuff, then just like build it in front of people, put it on your resume, and apply to the jobs. Go to conferences and things like that. But like even before that, like use AI to contribute to open source. So we've got Kubernetes is open source. This person, how I replace LeetCode's thing. I was thinking about talking about this. I don't know if we're going to get there, but I believe Kubernetes, if I were to search Kubernetes or Django or something, I'm like pretty sure these are open source projects that have issues and that you can contribute to. Using AI, by the way, you can, if you don't understand it, you can actually tell AI to explain it for you. Now, this is where $20 a month plan, I don't think it's getting there for you when it comes to this amount, but you can actually contribute to it and make it better and put on your resume, hey, I contributed to something that 100,000 developers use versus I built to-do list. Which one sounds better, right? I think doing stuff like this doesn't have to be Django. It could be literally any open source project. It could be your friends, could be your family. Just build stuff that people actually use. Once you've done that, now we are going to put that on your resume. You're going to say, oh, Django added 10 PRs into Django that resulted in XYZ 10,000% improvement, 1,000%, 5%, 10%, whatever. We're going to have our public resume too, which is LinkedIn. You're going to put in a LinkedIn profile. You're going to put your tagline in, put your city. I have a video inside my school community. By the way, if you guys want me to go more depth in the LinkedIn stuff, I have a video in the school community. If you join it, it's free. If you click the description, it's in the course section. And you can just get a more thought out kind of thing. This video I'm making very, very quickly, but you can get a more thought out step-by-step guide, and also includes LinkedIn and all that stuff. But in description in school if you want to. But the kind of core thing is you'll build your profile. You're going to have, oh, you did this thing for Django. You did this, you did this, you did this. And then boom, you're good. You're golden. You're the golden goose. Then the question is, how do you pass the interview? Because I think when you've done these things, you're already 99% better than a lot of the people who are first trying to get a job. Now, this is where, for my people who are software engineers with 5 years experience, 2 years experience, like you already demonstrated that you can do all of this stuff because you're currently working a job, ideally. So that it's just like, what are the stories that you're telling? How are you talking about your experience? When an interviewer will sit down with you and say, what did you build? How did you do it? What the words are coming out of your mouth, does it sound like you're smart? So that's something that you're going to have to work on. That's the behavioral stories. I think there's books on it that you can get if you just search behavioral interview guide. If not, like I could explain it too, but again, I think this video is already long enough. The second thing that I want to go over is, so that's behavior, how you talk about your stories. Second one is the actual coding interview. So you're going to get asked trivia, right? So they're going to ask you 4 things in the coding interview, potentially 4 things. It really depends on the company. They'll ask you trivia questions to make sure that you actually understand the coding stuff. So what is an array in Java? What is the difference between an array list and a linked list in Java? Things like that. You know, how does garbage collection work in Python? Like those types of questions. They may ask you actual coding question. They may ask you object-oriented programming question, which is like really just design patterns. And there's like another one. Oh yeah, they'll ask you to code a project. And there's actually a bonus one that we're getting now too with AI, which is that like they will give you AI plus a repo, and they'll just tell you to like add a feature or whatever. If you can do these, if you understand LeetCode and trivia and maybe some design patterns, like I think you just dominate all of these, and I think they're pretty easy in my opinion. So I think that the kind of thing is like you memorize your trivia questions before the interview. You actually have to study, do your LeetCode questions, which I have several videos on, and then you actually have to do the object-oriented stuff. But if you do these things, if you're actually good at these things, you will pass, you will get the job offer. And that's it. Like that's it. That's how you get the job interview from 0. Depending on how hard you work, I mean, this part here can take you anywhere from like 6 months to like 4 years of like just getting good at the basics. It could take you 6 months to 4 years, I would say. And then this part is like So anyways, if you like this video, we'll see you guys in the next one. So peace.